Hey guys, I am so excited today. I've got Josh Tapp on the show. He's with Pantheon FM. Josh and I have been friends for years. 2017, 2018, I think we met. We've actually never met in person, but done a lot on.
Should have, but my baby got in the way. So
yeah. When I flew out, it was that last month, flew out to Florida for an event where it sounded like it was going to be a really cool deal, and I was mainly excited just to meet you, but looks like you found an excuse not to join us.
I was like, no, I don't know if I want to meet Curtis in person.
How's the baby doing?
Dude, so good. He's sleeping through the night 2 months later, which is glorious.
That's awesome.
So we're very grateful for that.
Now, you guys that don't know Josh yet, you guys are just incredible at connecting good people with other good people who are crushing it in life and business, like we're featured in the magazine. So I'm really glad to have you on the show today, Josh.
Dude, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And thank you for that. Crushing it life and business. I'm like totally going to steal that tagline. And I know it's the tagline of the magazine, but it's great.
Tell me about Pantheon for folks that are not subscribed, haven't been listening yet. First off, you guys need to go get connected with that podcast and stuff. Make sure you get notifications turned on. You're not doing as much on Instagram now, but anywhere's at, if you like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever, you gotta get connected, turn on notifications so you see when he posts.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we actually don't do a ton on social right now. That is going to change. We're hiring somebody to come and do that, but we went away from it for a long time because we've built and sold 4 different companies, all in the marketing niche in the agency space using referrals. So only referral marketing. And I've tried everything under the sun. We've done the webinars, we've done the ads, we've done the cold outreach strategies, the cold email, cold calling, door knocking, literally everything. And it's nothing can beat referrals, man. And I laugh when people go. But people tell me all the time, like, yeah, referrals are my number one source of business. Oh, awesome. So do you have a system for it? They're like, oh, well, it's not systematic. And they go, well, no, I don't have a system for it. Right? Why? Like, if it's how you're getting business, why don't you have a system for it? And so we've ultimately just built the whole business around helping people build systems around inbound referrals. And that's what the Pantheon does.
So you've got the Pantheon FM, and then the Alliance is doing with that. That's basically curated rooms of high value individuals that need to connect with others, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That actually comes from, so one of my companies we did a roll up where you basically go out and buy a bunch of small companies, put them together, it increases the valuation, you sell it off. And it took like 3 years of work. It was massive pain in the butt. Yes, we made money off of it. It was not worth the headache, I'll tell you that much. But at the end of it, I was like, what if we just did this without buying companies, where we put them together and get them to cross-sell each other and everybody grows together? And that was the idea behind the Alliance. And it's ultimately getting 15 to 20 people who are B2B service providers in a room together where they're non-competing, right? So everybody's kind of the preferred provider in that room. But what we found is when we do this, we can usually get about 20% of each person's clientele to cross-sell. And so everybody grows by 20 to 30%, right, in the beginning. And then we've built these really cool systems to basically get them to where they're generating like 10 to 20 appointments a week strictly through referrals, which, for those of you listening to this, if you aren't familiar with this, referrals will usually close at between 1 out of 3 to 1 out of 5 will close when they're a referral to your company, versus like cold, where you're talking 1 out of 10, 1 out of 50, depending on your methodology. And so it's like the close rate's higher, which is amazing, but also, the flow is significantly easier. And so that's like the Alliance has been built around helping people to in essence build a system around inbound referrals so they don't have to fight and claw their way to the top. I just watched coaches, consultants, agency types for years just fail and fail and fail and fail, and they're all out doing all these crazy flashy things, and then I go talk to them afterwards and like, dude, I can't afford anything right now, I'm broke. I'm like, that's interesting, because you're famous and you still can't make money. Explain this to me.
Yep.
So anyways, so we actually opted for the wealth over fame, and then we'll probably move to fame later.
It's amazing to me how many people build an audience where that's one of the things when we're doing interviews for the magazine is, get on at the beginning of it saying, okay, this is your business. How are you going to monetize this interview? Because if we get 100,000 people a month reading your article, plus also seeing you on Amazon Fire TV and stuff. I get people on all the time that says, well, I had this motivation coach told me I need to get featured, and they said this is a great thing. And going, if you don't have a way to monetize it, something we can put a link in the magazine, link in the, whatever mech to where you're getting referrals. You're just paying for the ego of having your name out there. You've got to have a system to be able to monetize that traffic. And when you do, then the stuff like being on the Newswire magazine, Amazon Fire TV, those kind of things can blow up and really generate some revenue. But I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a mentor tell me this right at the beginning of my journey. He's like, Josh, you can be rich or famous. You got to pick one. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of people are like, cool, but you can be rich and famous. You're like, yes, eventually. But if you think about it, let's just like Taylor Swift. Everybody knows Taylor Swift, right? She got famous first, rich second, right? Then you look at like, I don't know, Grant Cardone. He got rich and then he got famous, right? Because he'd used his wealth to then become famous. And I like, for me, the journey was, let's go wealth first, riches second, or excuse me, wealth first and then fame second, right? And whether I try to be famous or not is inconsequential, but like that leads to it. But I love that you've got a set up with this, with the magazine to be able to go, hey, come and actually buy my stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, like I still believe that you should have a website, you should still have funnels in place, all these different things, but the best lead sources, in my opinion, are other people, right? Your clients.
When that's, you get people like that too that are speaking at events. A lot of the, I get to fly all over the country to speak at different places, and some of them are paid where they're actually paying the speakers. Most of them, the majority of the speakers are brand new, just getting on stage, and they're actually paying to be on stage. Sometimes it's thousands and thousands of dollars, $5,000 for a 10-minute speech where you get your videography back at the end and it shows that you're a speaker. But so many people even there get up and they're trying to build themselves a brand as a motivational speaker or keynote speaker, get paid well, but they don't have a way to monetize it. And that's one thing with the magazine where I got done, did a speech in Texas where I spoke for 10 minutes, got off the stage. We did $12,000 in revenue off of a 10-minute, not selling anything, just happened to be mentioned. Here's some of the things you can do to get your name out there. But I always love having you on the other side of the screen because we come from such different backgrounds and just perspectives here. But
what's funny is like neither of them are right or wrong. That's what's funny to me is like there are just different ways to do it. It's funny because like this is something I've always admired about you, Curtis, is like you're so good at like community building. I mean, you'll go out and build these ridiculous communities and huge followings, and then you know how to monetize it really quickly. Most people don't have that skill. Most people really don't. I met another lady. She started a magazine and she was doing like, I can't remember, 400,000 or 500,000 people were subscribed to this magazine. And she's like, Josh, I haven't broken even yet. I'm like, oh, that makes me want to throw up. That's terrifying. Spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, to do these things. Anyways, just really interesting to me.
So what's your number one right now? I know you talked about doing the referrals and basically, are you monetizing the referrals as far as like an affiliate program or what's?
Yeah. So as far as like where I get paid?
Yeah, where you get paid and then also how the affiliates are.
Yeah. So when somebody joins my program, I literally just do a flat rate fee. So we do for the Alliance, it's literally $2,500 a month to be in the room. And then we have the Pantheon, which is kind of a non-curated room. It's literally $97 a month. So it's a way to get people in, get them started and get them moving. But I've actually opted to run that program where I go, like, I'm not the one giving the referrals to everybody. And yes, I do still because I have a great network. But what I found is that if I can get them to learn how to refer each other, there's so much more magic in the room. So like, I'm not coming in and saying, I'm going to send each of you 20 people a week, right? That'd be highly unsustainable, right? First off, and nobody would like me because I'd be constantly referring them to people 24/7, right? So we found though that getting them all to cross refer each other has been one of the easiest ways to set it up. So they're basically monetizing that by selling the referrals on their services, and I just keep my flat rate instead of charging them a fee per deal. Because we've had some people, like a lot of people keep asking us, why don't you just do that where you keep a percentage? And I'm like, if you want to do that, I will happily keep a percentage, but you're going to hate me later. Because if you're generating three high ticket sales a week from us, and you're paying me 10% even, you're talking paying me like thousands of dollars a week versus $2,500 a month, right? And that's ultimately like, that helps us sell it first off, which is great, but it's true. I have one guy that he opted for that. I'm like, fine, dude, let's do it. He started getting the sales and he reached out to me. He's like, hey, can we go to that retainer model now? I'm like, of course. Like, it's also extremely annoying for me because we have to track every sale that they're making. And it's not a fun engagement. I use the word icky. It just feels gross to me. I'm like, just pay me a flat rate. I'll train you. I'll show you how to do everything. I'll put you in the room with the right people. you monetize it, right? And then you keep the money.
That's one of the things I've found out with trying to figure out how to collect on those deals, where even if it's a small percentage of the revenue, they go from the first few referrals where they're just loving you. Man, Josh has got me the third one this week. And by the time they're on 4, 5, 12, 15 referrals, they're going, screw this guy. He's every single time he's taking money. We got to figure out how to do some of this under the table where he's not taking a cut.
Yeah.
So
it opens the door for lack of integrity. And I'm like, nah.
Yep.
I've ultimately seen this is that, because some people will fight me on the retainer model truth. Like I get a lot of pushback on that. And I'm like, I've just found that short term, you're not going to like me, right? For the first 30 days, right? Oh, I had to pay him money, right? But then when the sales come in, you're going to go, oh, wow, I love it. And you're going to love me for life versus the model you just described where that, if I've gotten that, and this actually happened to me with a company very early on where I was just their referral source, I pushed them 180 sales. And this is a high ticket program. I pushed them 180 sales. And after a while, their lawyer reached out to me. The owner didn't even reach out to me. The lawyer was like, hey, we'd like to negotiate paying you less money. And I was like, okay, like, I think I didn't even have the balls. Sorry if I can say that here. He didn't have the balls to tell me himself, like, hey. And I'm like, I'm literally one of the biggest life sources in your company, and you want to cut me off. It's like, it's experiences like that taught me, wow, it just causes a rift because the more sales I make you, the more you're like, well, why am I paying this?
Yeah,
like you literally wouldn't have had these deals without me, right? So it is an interesting world, man. And I watch a lot of people because we actually ask our members to do this, but we don't have any sort of tracking on it. We just say, be integrable with each other. If you make a sale from somebody, send them a commission, right? Be a good human. We haven't had any complaints about it in 2 years of doing it. So I'm hoping that stays that same way. But I also think that, because I mean, you're this way, Curtis, right? If you're referring people to somebody else and they don't send you commission checks, I don't think that's an integrable business to be sending people to.
Yep.
Right. So that's the way that I look at it. Because I will tell you, there's one of the guys I've been referring in business for over probably 7-8 years now. We've made him a lot of money, and he pays me ridiculous checks. He's sent me on vacations. He's bought me amazing things, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I haven't even asked him once, but he writes me like, I think it's an unfair check for him, but he writes it for me every time, right? And I'm so grateful for him for doing that. But I'm like, that is a relationship where I'm like, he truly values me and understands, okay, Josh is going to be referring me people for life because I've bought his love, truthfully. So
yeah. Well, and I love that what you said there too about incentivizing people to do the right thing and not incentivizing dishonesty.
Yeah,
I've got a client like that right now too, where she has over and over and over. The one day I started getting these notifications on what was it called? Apple Pay. My phone is dinging, $200, $200, $200, $200, and I started looking through, going. So I called like, hey, something's wrong. Your phone's got a problem. And then she said, yeah, it won't let me send the rest of this money. And I'm like, you know that you're sending money. What happened? But a few times like that, she's got a big deal or something and has just ridiculously didn't ask me how she wanted me to send it. It was just some random sending $100 bills folded up in a thank you card or just stuff like that. But like, man, if there's anybody in the world, if there's 10 people that do the same business as she does, who is the one I'm going to refer? Not just because of the money, but because I know she's grateful for the service.
Yeah, she valued you, right? Because
yep.
So I refer a lot of marketing agencies, right, for different things, right? And most marketing agencies haven't really they're like, sure, whatever, thanks. Yeah, like they'll send me a little check or whatever. But I met this guy earlier this year, and the first experience we had together is he bought me box seats to an NBA game, right? So I went to the NBA game with him. It's in near my hometown, so we went to the game. I hadn't even given him a referral yet. He's like, dude, I met you. Why don't you just come out? Come meet some of my guys. So I did. So we did that, and then the next day after it's over, he's like, hey, thanks for coming. Do you want to come to Costa Rica with us? It was right in the middle of when my wife was having her baby, so it wasn't going to be able to happen. But he was like, well, come with us next year, right? And then he just invited me on this fishing trip. And I was talking to him, I'm like, why do you keep doing this? He's like, you'll send me people. And I'm like, I will. Like, why would I not send you people? And what's funny is I've landed him 3 or 4 massive clients. And he's like, see, you paid for it. And I'm like, it's just so, and he still sends me the commission checks. And I'm like, man, that's such a different experience for somebody when it's like, this person genuinely was grateful for me sending them business instead of just, sending me a check or just never sending me anything, right? I actually had a conversation with one of our clients yesterday because she sent somebody, they landed a $100,000 client off of her, and they sent her a $25 Starbucks gift card.
Okay.
And
I've had that too.
That's worse than not sending anything at all. Like, that's a slap in the face. She's like, how do I respond to this? I'm like, don't send any more leads. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyways, I could go on a soapbox for as long as you wanted me to, but I just, this is part of what we train up our people to do, is that you start getting referrals, but then you need to build an actual program around what you're paying them. That's not just money. So you always make sure the commission goes through, but you also have to make sure that you've got other spicy things to make it fun, right? So like you talked about the thank you card with a $100 bill in it. That's like, that'll bring you back to your childhood when you're like, when grandma sent you the $5 bill on your birthday and you were so excited about that $5 bill, right? I had a guy, he sent me, they made this origami thing. It was like $3,000 in $100 bills in this origami thing. So it came in a box, and it was this boat, because he knows I'm like a total nerd. So it was like a pirate ship made out of $100 bills, right? And I'm like, how freaking cool is that? Like above and beyond, instead of just, here's your check at the end of the day or whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to refer you forever because that was funny. Like you just got me because it was hilarious. Anyways, it is so valuable when you actually care about people. You care that they sent you somebody, right? Because at the end of the day, if somebody's generating you a client, they've done you literally one of the best services a business can do for you, right? Or somebody can do for you.
Love that. Now, if people aren't connected with you, I know you said you're not doing a whole lot on social media right now, but what's the best way? What type of businesses are you looking to connect?
So first and foremost, we really love B2B businesses. So coaches, consultants, agencies, SaaS style companies. Like if you're serving entrepreneurs, that's who we like to have come our way. The social media platform I am active on is LinkedIn. So reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just the LinkedIn URL with the Lucky Titan is my handle, if that makes sense. But I actually give my number away. If you're open to that, I'll give my number to your people.
Absolutely.
Like, feel free to text me. So this is my phone number. So go to my actual phone. It's 208-206-4652. And I am in the US. So I'll repeat that again. 208-206-4652. And feel free to message me, guys. Like, if you're listening to this, like, absolutely text me. I've been giving that away on stage for years. We have thousands and thousands of phone numbers in there. Nobody's ever one time abused it. Never once. So if you do, you'll be the first person I block. Don't make me have that one person. I'll just say that. But feel free to text me. Text me.
You may. Now, I've had a couple recently that were incredibly awkward, uncomfortable, weird conversations.
I've been there.
Like, where people started reaching out and they're going, well, you gave me your number. I gave 300 people my number in that same audience. You flipped nut. Yeah, so hopefully...
Okay. I
hopefully they don't think they're... So hopefully they don't think you're as cute as they thought I was, but...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been there. We had... I did have and this is a lesson for anybody listening to this, because I was talking to a panel of billionaires. It was a really fun experience. There were 12 people. And at the end of it, I gave away my website. I was like, yeah, go to my website. And then one of them walked out to me afterwards. He's like, don't you ever do that again. I was like, what? Like, what do I do, right? He's like, don't ever give people your website. Give them your phone number till the day you die. And as a billionaire, like a name you guys would recognize. And he gave me his number, and he's like, hey, he's like, I know you want to abuse it, first off, but use it. You've got me in your back pocket now. And he encouraged me. He's like, do this everywhere you go. And he's like, you'll never want for money. And truthfully, like, that is one of the pivotal moments in my life was when I started doing that, of giving my phone number away, because you're going to have people randomly texting you, asking to buy from you. You're going to have people randomly texting you with referrals. You're going to have them texting you with cool opportunities, landing cool magazine deals like this. A lot of times that comes through phone numbers. Like, people are just texting you, going, hey, I really liked you on stage, or I really liked what you did, or whatever you did. Like, I love giving it away on social media. Saying, here's my number, text me, right? When I use social media, let's be real. It's very rare. LinkedIn is my platform. So you'll start seeing me in other places. Maybe by the time this is live, you might see me there.
If we got somebody listening to us right now that's trying to build their business, trying to start growing, trying to start getting referrals, what is your advice for them?
So let me actually give them an activity. This is an action that I tell people to go do. So, and message me if you beat this record. Okay. So we had a guy do this activity, made $480,000 from doing this activity. So just putting that out there. Okay. This is something that everybody can do and they don't realize is there is this weird arbitrary thing called a list. People are like, yeah, how big is your list? And they're always talking your email list, but your list is actually significantly bigger than a lot of you think. I look at who are the people that you can actually contact today, and they'll probably get back to you within 24 hours, right? That's an actual list. Okay. And I'm not talking like bulk sending emails. I'm talking, could you text somebody and they'll text you within 24 hours? If you'll do that, or if you think about that, you might actually realize you have a bigger network than you think. So I'm going to have you do an activity. I want you to pull open your phone. I want you to take your contacts. So go to your contacts. And if you're on iPhone, I think it's the same way on Android. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of your contacts, it's going to take me a minute. Okay. So at the very bottom, it will say how many contacts you have at the bottom of your phone. I've got $10 saying all of those contacts aren't family, right? You've probably got some people in there who aren't family friends. Now, I'm not talking go out and be a network marketer and reach out to your family and friends. Most of you probably have a handful of people who are business people in there that you could probably text. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull a whole list of these people, put them into an Excel sheet, and you're going to highlight all of the people who you're like, they might be interested in my offer. And then you're going to do the same thing with your email. Okay. For a lot of people, they don't even know they have this. If you go to your calendar app, so if you have Calendly, Acuity, or you're just using Google, you can pull a list of all of your contacts and put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. And a lot of people don't realize that that's a list of people that have given you permission to contact them. Now, you can't spam them. This is my GDPR compliance here. You cannot spam them and put them onto your email lists, but you can reach out to them because they gave you their number. They gave you their email. And what you want to do is you want to go through that list and highlight everybody who might be a potential fit. And then you reach out to them, telling them what you're doing. Okay. I know that sounds super simple, but it actually is all it takes, right? I'm not oversimplifying this. Pull the list. We call this the ListBlitz. So you literally pull a whole list, highlight everybody on that list you think could be a potential sale, and you say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but this is what I do for a living. That's all you have to say. And watch what happens. You're going to get a ton of people going, oh, that's amazing. Tell me more about it. Or they'll go, that might be something I need, right? Or they might go, oh, I have a friend who's looking for this. I just watch. Yeah, like I said, the record so far, the guy did $480,000 in 2 weeks doing this methodology. So that activity is like, most people have never done it. And I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you listening to this, 90% of you aren't going to do it because you're going to go, well, it's too much work. I'm scared to text people. I don't want to talk to people. Be broke. That's all I have to say. Learn to love being broke. But then the second thing about that is that the 10% of you who do it are going to have incredible results. We've never had somebody do this and make less than 10 grand. Never. Okay. So take the challenge, go implement that. ListBlitz will be a game changer for a lot of you. And I'm going to encourage you to do it once a quarter. We go back and do it every quarter. And I don't pay someone to do this. I go do this myself. I pull up in my contacts. I go through my phone. Because usually every quarter we're like doing something different. Oh, we have this new event we're doing. We have, maybe I'm getting featured on this magazine, right? Or I'm, I don't know, whatever it is, right? Like I've launched a new product or whatever it is. That allows you to say, maybe there's people interested in this new thing, or maybe they want to come to this event. And it's game changing. It's absolutely game changing. So leverage that. It's the ListBlitz activity. Make sure you guys go and do that because you won't regret it. And those who don't do it, you will.
So now I haven't, I'd never heard it called the ListBlitz or hear it explained like you did. I really love the tip. Scroll down the bottom of your contact list. I had no clue. I didn't know that there was a counter down there. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool thing there. But I have done this before reaching out. What's that?
That's your actual list, by the way, because people think their email list is their list. I'm like, you can't call them. I guess people can't hear me if they're not, or can't see me if they're listening to this. But anyways, you get the point. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Any other tips you'd like to give as far as, I mean, that was phenomenal. That's worth listening if you didn't see anything else on this interview. But any other tips or insights on building your list, maybe just getting started out?
Yeah. Building the list is actually really an interesting piece. And this is something I would tell anybody who's kind of in that starting out phase is that I had a mentor teach me this one time. I loved it. He said, your success is on the other side of what scares you most. Right. And for most entrepreneurs, it's usually on the other side of picking up the phone and calling somebody. Right. That's a really scary activity. It still scares me sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. And there's certain people that I'm like, is this going to annoy them? Like, am I calling them at a bad time or whatever? But if you'll text somebody first and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you. Most of the time, most human beings will say, yeah, let's do it. Right. And people just forget to ask because it's scary. And in our day and age, everybody has used social media as a crutch and these other platforms as a crutch to not have human interaction. And if you will do these human interactions and be courageous, you'll make a lot of money. And I can confidently say that. Like, I've never seen somebody who did these activities and not see a result. Right. So just be courageous. That's really kind of the big message I tell people.
Another thing about that too, that I've noticed reaching out to people like that, where maybe I'm reaching out to 913 people and it's, in a group there. The very few that are offended or irritated by you reaching out to them are not somebody who has anything to offer anyway. That's usually the people that have been, hey man, I'm short $100. Could you help me out?
Yeah. That
type of guy is going to be the one that sends you a message saying stop, or I don't care about this, or that's not relevant to me. But usually the big, this last Blitz I sent out like that, I had some guys that I never even thought checked my messages or never thought they would respond. They're like, hey, I've got a couple of referrals for you. And it's just people who are already successful, people who are doing big things, are looking to help other people become successful as well, typically. And the folks that are not going to support you are usually the ones that aren't doing anything anyway. So
yeah, well,
maybe don't stress about it.
That's such a good point. And like, honestly, I can tell you, like, what a blessing is that to be able to identify the people who are going to be like that before they become clients or before they become quote unquote friends. Get them out of your life, right? I mean, people like that are just leeches. And I will also clump into that, people who come in and critique what you do. Because like, well, people all the time, but give this typo on your website. I'm like, cool. Thank you, I guess. Like, it's not a kind activity to go do for somebody. So like my point here is, like, if somebody's critiquing you or doing this sort of things, that's not somebody you want in your life, right? And pulling them out of your life early is way better than when they're a client and it becomes a huge problem and a lawsuit and all these other shenanigans you don't want to have happen. Get them out. So it's like, what a cool blessing to be able to have them yell at you before that happens so you can get them out of your life, right?
Part of that, I believe, is context, though. Like, I mean, I get people all the time that reach out. Hey, I don't know if you knew this, but when I clicked I had one a couple of months ago. We were doing a migration, server migration, and so they were trying to fill out trying to submit the application for the interview. And they said, when I get to the payment section, every time I pay, she said, I think I've got the money on my card. It's $1,995. She's trying to. She said, I've tried however many times, like 8 times or something. And it just keeps going to this site. Your page says 503. Like, oh, man, thank you so much. But she said, I was up all night trying to think about if this was going to offend you or irritate you. And I didn't want to get myself kicked out of being able to be featured. And going, you just probably, I don't know how much you saved me by.
So I'm not meaning people giving you feedback. I believe in feedback. I'm meaning people who are like, you have a typo, I'm not working with you. I probably should have finished that thought. But like, you have a typo. This is so unprofessional. And I'm like, I am the least professional person you can talk to, right? I'm in a t-shirt right now, guys. Come on. Like, I'll never not be in a t-shirt. But you get the point, right? It's like, but I agree. Like, feedback is so important. So I don't want that to be I probably should use a different example. But when they're like, you have a typo, you're so unprofessional, move on.
Yeah, right? I got you.
Move on.
I was going to say, I'm on the other end of that spectrum there, where if you got something to say, hurt my feelings, don't try to sugarcoat it. I'm looking to improve. So
I love that. And I genuinely want people to tell me there's issues. So what I'm meaning is like, if they're like, I'm not going to work with you because you have a typo, you don't want that kind of guy in your life. I just put that out there.
now tell me real quick, who is the perfect person that if you had somebody describe name, age, gender, or whatever, I don't know if gender is still a thing that you can make a distinction on, but
I will. Yeah, but
break it down to me exactly who your target client, the perfect referral is for you.
So the absolute perfect referral for me. So we actually have 15 seats for each room that we fill, and so each seat has a very specific person that we want in the seat. And so the one we're looking for right now is we're actually looking for agencies. So if you have an agency that's somebody who's in marketing, PR, branding, I love agencies. I'd love to talk to them. Who we're usually looking for, just so you know, like to our qualifications to be in the room for the alliance is that they've already sold at least $200,000 of their own service, and not of multiple services in the past, but of the actual service they're selling right now. So they've already sold what they're selling, so that we know if we send you referrals, they're not just going to fall away and not work, right? And then they've got some sort of network already in place. So they're posting on LinkedIn consistently or Instagram or somewhere like that. Or they speak on stage a lot and they have a big list, right? We're not looking for an enormous list. We usually look for something to the tune of 5,000 people on a list. Because with those two criteria, I know I can get them to win, right? And the third one, if I were to give you a very loose, like, I don't know if metaphysical is the right word, but like the kind of like a psychographic descriptor of somebody is we look for people who are givers who actually care about humanity, right? I'm always actively looking for people who have a mission behind what they're doing, because if they're mission driven, they're going to provide better results to the people around them. And I know they're not just going to take their money and blow it on stupid stuff. They're going to go and use that to better mankind instead of bettering their own life, right?
That was one of the things that I really loved about this event that I just did, that you hosted out in Wakiva Island and then decided not to show up to. But
really the first event I've ever thrown where I didn't go to. Yeah.
Glad you had the kid, but hey, I wish you would have come.
I know, yeah, stupid kid, Graham.
That was the thing that I loved about that, though, is there's this huge group of people, and when you invited me to that, I went more as a favor than anything, thinking, typically I'm at these events where, I mean, you can meet hundreds or thousands of people, and especially speaking on stage, you get done, you can say, hey, here's my number, send me a text, or hey, come grab a card, and you go through 300 business cards as soon as you can hand them out. So when you invited me to this, I'm thinking, cool, maybe I'll go meet my buddy Josh of many years here, but it was more of a favor than anything. And then when I showed up, it was, I was blown away by the quality of the people. Jeff, the real estate guy that got to go do the kayak thing. Yeah. Just such a good group of people that really were out to help other people. And like you were talking about the commission thing, they're going, I'm happy to send you referrals. And I was telling them, hey, listen, we do a 20% referral. So, a 1995 article, that's $3.99 you make right off the top for every person you send us. And I was like, that's, I'm just happy to send you people. But I just go, okay, that's a cool seeing how you've curated this group of guys that are leaders, that are already successful, and also that want to just see people win, whether or not they're making anything from it.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, that's.
And I appreciate you seeing that, because I have found, this is what's really funny. So when we put on these rooms, like, we don't charge anything for people that come to them, right? We put a lot of money out of pocket, which I think we spent something to the tune of like $10,000 on that event. And it's so worth it, because when we put people into a room and we invite them, we say, hey, everybody here has been personally invited, first off, but we're only inviting people who are like, you're just a cool person, right? Yeah. Like you, Curtis, like you and I, we could go hang out. Like I wouldn't, it doesn't have to be a business thing. Like, dude, let's go boating or something together. And I would do that any day of the week. And like when you find people like that and you put them in a room, I don't even have to do anything. They just make magic happen together. It's really fun. That's why, honestly, that event, like, as stupid it was, I wasn't able to make it. Like, that was such a powerful moment for me, because I went, wow, even if I'm not there, it turns out amazingly well. And like, it's cool. It's actually really cool. And not that it's going to make me not go, because I can't throw parties and not show up to them, right? But anyways, you get the point. So yeah, I love it. Thank you for coming out, dude. It was awesome to have you there.
Yeah, I'd like to do another one. Might just start following you around, hanging out at these events just
You
because they're
should.
fun.
We're
Forget
doing one in
about business.
September. You got a free ticket, dude.
That's
Especially
awesome,
you keep
man.
making this amazing content. We're like, dude, this guy knows what he's doing.
That's awesome. I know we were way over the time that I booked you for, but do you have any final thoughts to share with the audience here?
I think I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. Is just be courageous. You know, do the hard thing and watch what happens. If for you it's like, well, Josh, I'm not scared of hopping on a call, but I'm scared of putting a video of myself online, or I'm scared of going to an in-person event or whatever. Go do it today. Literally, like, go record the piece of content, buy the ticket to the event, whatever you have to do to make sure that you're doing the hard thing. Because when you do that, the money's on the other side, and so is enhanced happiness, better connections, better relationships. Entrepreneurship is a fun world, and when you get in and around the right entrepreneurs, you're going to find your family.
It's a good soundbite there. That's perfect. Hey, so Josh, give me your phone number one more time for the audience. Here, if you're watching on Amazon Fire TV, listen to this on social media, or on the, reading about it in the magazine, we need to know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so the number's 208-206-4652.
208-206-4652.
Yeah, feel free to text me.
Perfect. Man, I so appreciate you having you on the show today. That was just really a blast. Good talking to you, man.
Thank you, man. You're awesome. I appreciate you, dude.